Conan's run on weekly nighttime television is coming to an end. In one form or another, Conan O'Brien has been part of the American TV landscape in the evenings for 28 years or more at this point, and while not nearly as celebrated as the likes of Jay Leno or David Letterman, Conan remains the light-hearted, counter-punching, fun-loving, host that sustained himself in various ways through jumps between networks and cable channels. Let's go ahead and dive into the future for Conan and the remaining late-night television shows. This should be fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, hiss and foes, welcome to the Culture Casino!
The time of the nightly late-night show is coming to an end. Conan O'Brien's move to a weekly streaming service is kind of the harbinger of things to come, I believe. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, though, who's paying attention to the ratings or to anyone who watches what passes for late-night TV nowadays. For almost a third of the article that I have here, this is obviously from Deadline, the author stays on target. That's a lot more than can be said for many articles nowadays, but anyway, talking about Conan here and the factors surrounding the change that he's making. There's even a poignant statement from the Conan O'Brien showrunner Jeff Ross that's included from about a month ago. Jeff told Deadline that he questioned the future of late-night shows on the TV networks, as they are kind of dinosaurs in the business right now, and that the linear networks are just like death due to the lower ratings. Well, of course. And it's interesting that it took them a month to get that to print, huh? How insightful. The ratings for late night TV have been going downhill for quite some time now, since 2014, 2015, 2016, right in there, they just started to just completely fall off. And the content on most of the shows provided now seem to lack the biting satire and the scathing wit that gave its audience something to laugh about and perhaps gain some perspective along the way. The guests now push things other than the movie or books that they are supposedly promoting when they arrive on these platforms, and now actively drive audiences away from them. The ratings show that none of these late-night contenders are of any significance, obviously. Stephen Colbert has done the best among them, which isn't saying very much, as he's currently got a rating of 0.3 in the demo. To be clear, Conan actually significantly underperforms in every other category, and even in this one, when it comes to ratings. In fact, he's the lowest on the totem pole at 0.13 on TBS, where his show is now and will be until the middle of June of 2021. Now, in fact, right now, if you were to add them all up, there's only about 5 or 6 million people in the entire country that watch any form of late-night television. That's not very good. Looking at things with a wider view, as I often like to do, also tells a tale of the other things that I expect to come to pass. Late-night audiences are not the demographic these shows are actually set up for anymore. In fact, they don't pull numbers because the group that they are targeting under their, mandate that started about 10 or 15 years ago, don't watch terrestrial television at all anymore. The adults don't waste their time either. They just don't. Gone are the days, actually, of sending the kids to bed and then having the parents watch the late news, of course, and then followed up by one of these amazing shows by either Jack Paar or Johnny Carson or some of the greats. Now, a thought recently occurred to me in this vein, actually, since the news media has shifted to an entertainment medium rather than, obviously, news. The late night shows have become even less intriguing. News programming now includes digs and jibes that the current late night folks would actually struggle to come up with during the course of their programs. In fact, up until their recent fall, Fox News personalities and many of their competitors regularly beat out all of the comedy-driven late-night show personalities in the ratings. and oftentimes by a very comfortable margin. Now, the puritanical and apologetic late night show, as it seems to exist now, is not very funny or entertaining, as I'm sure you can see that the audiences agree with that point of view anyway. Conan's moved to streaming in June of 2021, which means it'll likely be the end of 2021 or perhaps even July 2021 before we see him again, will likely help him and the writers on his staff. Now, Jeff Ross is going to have the extra time that he needs to put a sparkle on a weekly show that he's never had time to do otherwise. The only downside is that the history of weekly streaming shows like this hasn't really shown many personalities a whole lot of success. The only glaring obvious successful one would be when Letterman moved to a format on Netflix that's a singular interview style of show. So it's even different than what most nighttime television late night shows are supposed to be. However, in the end, we are given one less reason to tune into CBS, or excuse me, not CBS, although there are not a lot of other reasons to turn into that anyway, but to tune into PBS, as it and the other Warner Media cable offerings are really losing interest and financial value. Bad news for Warner. Warner is obviously circling the wagons, though, around its streaming platform, and as I've mentioned before, they are desperately trying to part with the likes of CNN, TBS obviously, TNT, and some other failing cable outlets, and the occasional platform as well. So this leads us to the part of the program, or this particular video, where I ask you what you think. Now, do you think it's a good move for Conan to go to a weekly streaming program? I do. I think it's going to give him a remarkable opportunity to deliver some of his best jokes and his best work just once a week, because he's not under anything other than a deadline of a once-a-week show. And do you think that TV, especially when it comes to the late-night shows on television, do you think that they're actually going to exist to the end of the decade? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't think any of these late-night hosts are in a position to survive what they have set up for themselves. And the executives that are supposed to take care of them, caretake the properties because they are long-living entities. I think that we won't see that for very much longer. I think that the Tonight Show with Fallon, I think that Colbert even will start to fall off even more so than they already have. But hey, that's my opinion. Please use the comment section down below to continue this discussion, because you know what, this is something I'd like to talk about. I don't mind having a lengthy conversation about it, but unfortunately the videos are limited to about 10 minutes just to not only keep your attention, but to keep the algorithm happy. Also note that, as I mentioned yesterday on my Sunday Culture review, during the live stream, and also in a promotional video, that memberships are now available on my channel. And I have a couple of tiers with a couple of different perks that you might be interested in. So be sure to check those out. Check out the, just by clicking on the join button, find out what you might be interested in as far as that goes. Also, because I want to have a third tier like many other channels do, please send me some feedback, if you can, on what you would like to see in a premium tier, third tier, high roller category of content, because I'm thinking about merchandise discounts on my Teespring merch. I'm thinking about doing a bloopers or a blunders kind of video, because there's a lot of stuff that I cut out of these that or there are times I record a video like 11 times or something before I actually get something usable. So if that's something that might interest you, you can use the comments here, but obviously go over to the community tab and give some suggestions there, because that's probably the better place to do it. You get some other folks in the chat too doing the same thing. So anyway, I appreciate all the feedback in any way that I get it, even the negative stuff, guys, because you know what? Got a thick skin. As I always say, though, be sure to support other independent creators here on the platform. We are not the mainstream media. We don't get the same support on this platform that many of these other folks do. We often aren't found in recommendations. So if I did show up in one of your recommendations, even more reason for you to subscribe if you're not, or to, hit the like button on an occasional video, or to share it out, or to, I don't know, even join as a channel member. All right. But anyway, be sure to support other independent creators here on the platform because they can certainly use your help, and they deserve it. They put forth some great information. They do it in a way that's easily digestible, and they often don't waste your time. So, with that being said, thank you all so very much for being here and making it to this part of the video. Got a little bit more to go, including the closing thoughts, which are always these. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because, as I say, it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Hey there, one last quick note before I let you go, and before we make it to the end of this video. I, CultureCasino, have a brand new Teespring store. That's right, you can now go to Teespring, look up CultureCasino, or use the link in the video below, and pick out some handsome and beautiful CultureCasino merchandise with many different designs and styles and colors, many different items. I was actually surprised at all of the things that you could create, and I have some more designs and items on the way here shortly. But, you know, if you want to support the channel in that way, there is some merch. Otherwise, here comes the ending. Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.